Hey guys, this is Johnny.
And this is Jeff. Welcome to our live action Avatar channel, where we discuss all things Avatar related. By now, most of you have watched the Netflix adaptation of Avatar The Last Airbender, so today we're going to review episode 1.
We want to preface this with, as independent filmmakers ourselves, we understand how difficult a production can be, even more so, how much harder it would be to attempt such a large-scale production of the beloved animated series.
We're going to be looking at the good and the bad, so without further ado, let's hop right in. Fair warning, spoilers ahead.
Frankly, there's so much great stuff happening here. From intense fight scenes, fantastic visuals, and solid performances. We really enjoyed the intro of the series. We are introduced to the Fire Nation's attack plans and see them overthrow the Air Nomads. It gave us a good feel of how bending would look in the show, and it looks awesome. Also, when Sozin torched this guy, it really set the tone of grittiness and danger in this world that they couldn't really portray in the original cartoon.
Unfortunately, what didn't work for us was the overuse of extended monologues. There was way too much exposition that didn't add any depth. That honestly took away from the momentum and intensity of the show. Subplots and side stories felt forced within the first 20 minutes, as opposed to the animated series that slowly revealed over the course of an entire show.
The pacing of the show starts off great, right into the action. Honestly, this opening was perfect. I wouldn't even change it. We then cut to a CGI portrayal of the Four Elements and Kyoshi narrating the classic story of the Fire Nation's evil schemes. Even though this is meant as a tribute to the iconic opening of the animated series, it was odd placement. If they wanted to include this sequence, it feels like it should have been placed at the beginning or cut out entirely. Especially since we get a dialogue read of the whole cartoon intro from Gran Gran again later in the show. Again, there's no need to repeat that, and there's no need for extended monologue.
Although most of the action looks great, let me emphasize that it looks amazing. There are random awkward details in the show that take us out of the momentum.
Example of this was the opening scene where the Earthbender is escaping. The scene is intense and fast-paced, showcasing that the scenario is dire and death is imminent, right? It then cuts to his alleged comrade chilling on the ostrich horses like there's no worry.
Another example is this airbender who's making a tornado during the Fire Nation attack. We don't see if her actions have an effect on the battle, and when the scene revisits her, she gets dispatched quickly, making her sacrifice feel completely useless. The performances were excellent, notably Ian Owsley as Sokka. It's hard to bring to life such a cartoony animated character such as Sokka in a natural way without coming across as cringe or corny. Portraying Aang, Gordon Cramer's performance is great as long as he's not forced to give long-winded monologues for exposition. He truly gives off a young and happy boy eager to make new friends, which is fundamental to Aang's character.
For Katara, Kiwon shines when she is given more practical incentives. For example, when she's protecting Aang from Sokka. This was so impactful, it was a great scene and great delivery, and it really drove the story. Dallas Liu is excellent as Zuko. He's great. He brings the character's raw emotions to life in a way that's believable and authentic.
Paul Lee's Iroh is hard to reconcile. Though his performance is good, it's far-fetched from the character we all know and cherish. This version of Iroh is too serious and too flat. But we all know the biggest question in our minds is he gonna get swole in season 3? A lot of performance could have been stronger if they were given opportunities to convey feelings through action rather than purely dialogue. Character motivations seem a lot more convoluted. Instead of Aang leaving his home to run away from the responsibilities, he's on a stroll to clear his mind but gets caught in a storm. In the cartoon, his predicament makes more sense. Because he's running away, he's incentivized to push through any obstacle, in other words, a deadly storm. In the Netflix episode, it cuts away from an intense scene to Aang and Appa already in the storm, and then Aang acknowledges the obvious, the storm is getting bad.
Now, we're totally fine with there being changes in the live action adaptation because that's what an adaptation is. However, if you're going to deviate from the source material, then you need to abide by the new rules you set and establish in the new world. But they broke it anyway, in the first episode. That's why the scene makes literally no sense because they just established 35 minutes earlier in the same episode that he could free fly without his staff. So there is literally nothing at stake here. Just freaking fly, Zahir. Also, Katara is shown as an amateur bender struggling to barely lift droplets of water, but in this scene she yeets 50 gallons, 150 meters in the air? Also, in this version of Avatar, do fireballs just travel forever? Okay, let's talk about the visual effects. I'm just gonna say it, the visual effects were perfect, they look beautiful. Congratulations to the department. Like, it was awesome. From the stunning environments to the realistic water simulations, I tip my hat off to the VFX department and they deserve praise. Pay them more money. Obviously, the first thing we all notice is the look of the bending. One of the most impressive effects is seeing air interact with fire. It's awesome. That shot of Fire Lord Sozin deflecting Gyatso's vortex with a fire shield was spectacular. The 3D environments by themselves were well designed and the creatures and the interactions felt believable. Okay, but here you go. The part where the visuals fell short were in the set extensions. I'm not blaming blaming actually the VFX department. The VFX themselves were good. This is where you have issues in the planning and the production. Because if you do not set the VFX artists up for success, they will not be able to deliver realistic environments and simulations. There were a lot of times that the character surroundings felt synthetic. Sometimes the backdrops were too stylistic, and though visually they looked dazzling, it didn't match the practical sets and talent. The lighting was off. This was especially evident in the South Pole scenes when the camera followed the actors walking through the village. LED stages are very popular in Hollywood productions right now, and they are admittedly much better than their green screen predecessors. However, if not careful, the scene can quickly feel claustrophobic, and the illusion of the actors being in the foreign environments completely falls apart. Overall, the VFX don't distract from the story, and that is the most important task a VFX team needs to achieve. And honestly, they did it. So again, congratulations. It looked awesome.
Overall, this series has potential. It's hard to judge the series from just the first episode. There are a lot of things I like here, but it feels like pacing and writing kind of detract, leading to an overall lackluster experience. It's a decent start for such a large series with high expectations, and we look forward to watching the rest of the series. We'll be adding breakdowns for each episode, so make sure to subscribe and comment and tell us what you think. Or maybe we're just full of crap and pulling stuff out of our butt. But it is nice to see more Avatar stuff coming out.